Pixel here in Provo Garage. Back in the Oldsmobile, getting a little bit done. Hoping like hell I can get it painted this weekend, but we'll see. Actually started and then remembered I needed to film an intro. Scuffing the hood with the red scrubby to get a nice tooth so the surface will be good to paint. This doesn't take long. Probably isn't even that hard, except that both my rotator cuffs are trashed. My right one especially. And I've been sanding up in the bathroom project. So it has not been a good week, month for my shoulders. So that's what it is. But I'm going to bang out as much of this as I can. You're probably just going to get footage from tomorrow because I'm just going to do this until either I can't or my partner gets home and we have dinner, and then I think I'm going to be done for tonight because this will destroy me, and the next thing I have to do in the bathroom is more sanding. So yeah, but I am banging towards stuff. So I might get lucky and be able to paint. I might not. Well, it's going to be down to the wire, I think. But if I do get into paint this weekend, it's going to be fucking amazing. So worth trying. So I'll see you in a bit. All right, that wasn't as much as I'd hoped, but I got stuff done. Hood is completely scuffed down. It just needs its final wipe and it's ready for paint. Outside of this door is done. Outside of this door is done. Some of this is done. That in there is done. I resprayed all of the rust pitting where the... I can't even talk properly. I resprayed all of the rust pitting where the trim was because I wasn't happy that all of it had actually been fully converted. So that's all been sprayed with phosphoric acid and then wiped so there's the thinnest coat of it. Obviously it's going to be thicker in the pits because they're deeper, but that'll be enough to let it convert without doing weird shit to the metal around it, just like happened on the hood is. That's how I did it on the hood, and the hood was ready to go. So unfortunately my shoulders are all, you're done, so I'm not going to be able to work on this anymore tonight, but we're good now. Hood, wipe it down, paint it. Fender, wipe it down, paint it. Cowl. This door is re-scuff that area that it's got that stuff on it to make sure it's all good once that's dried, and take it off, scuff the bits I can't reach properly with it on. It's ready for paint. This door, re-scuff that area, take it off, scuff the parts of it, the inside that's in Master Series. It's ready for paint. This still needs basically from about here down scuffed, and there's probably some areas I still have to touch up with sanding, actual real sanding, and then inside there needs scuffing in the inside wheel well, and once the doors and fender are off, all of this is going to need to be fully scuffed. A lot of it is, but not all of it. Oh, I also treated that spot there. So this area down here is going to get painted. I think I might have... Okay, so this has been Master Series'd in here. So I can basically paint sort of this stripe here completely. Yeah. Oh, if I wasn't in like active screaming pain right now, what I'd probably do is do some welding because I can do that without it hurting my shoulders as much. But I pushed this too far, so I am done. And I would love to get more ready for paint, but I'm not going to create a new job for myself until all of this is at wipe it down and paint it. So tomorrow, with a little bit of luck, I'll be able to come in, scuff and sand that quarter, re-scuff these areas, scuff that inner bits, and then all of this will just be on hold, waiting for the ability to paint, which will hopefully be Saturday or Sunday. That'll then be the point where I can be like, all right, I'm going to start in on another project. And what that probably will be is get all of this above and below ready for paint, because it'd be nice to shoot that at the same time. Because once this has got this from the, basically there's a piece of trim that covers this outer bit, and then there's trim and molding and weather stripping that covers this entire inner strip. So all of that, once it's in epoxy primer, can get reassembled because it'll never be, it doesn't need to be painted. The epoxy primer will seal it forever and you'll never see it, so it doesn't matter if it's got paint on it. Similarly, if I can get that little bit of rust and this area on the other side done and clean up this whole opening here, I can shoot that entire opening with epoxy primer, and then the window can go in because the trim part is removable. Like, this is not one of those where the trim is integral to the glass seal like I thought it was. It looks like it can go on, it goes on afterwards. I have to double check that, but I'm like 99% sure. And if that's the case, then the inside of this can get epoxy primed, and then the glass can go in because I can take the trim off, paint down below where you'll be able to see it with trim on when I paint, and that'll all be good. I also would love to get like this back here stripped off and painted, because the trunk lid is already in the pot. This is the epoxy primer I'm going to be using, is this white stuff. So the trunk lid's already in that. This has got it on it, but that was overspray from painting the trunk lid, because I didn't bother to mask up here. I just shot it, which meant, unfortunately, I got it on the trim too, but that's a future me problem. So I'm blathering because I'm in pain. I will catch you on the next part of it. Another day. Yeah, I'm between this and the bathroom. I've trashed my rotator cuffs, so I'm going to very briefly do some sanding. I brought out the electric DA, which is a little easier on me, and because it's got a little bit of sponge to the map pad, I think will actually work better on this for the curves. So yeah, I'm just going to go over that stuff that I put the OSFO on. I tried doing it with just the scuff pad, and it needs a little bit more than that, so that's why I'm using the DA. Gonna go over that. If I'm feeling okay, I'm gonna do the quarter panel, and if not, that's all I'm gonna do. So I don't want to kill myself doing this. Good thing is, I think I'm done sanding in the bathroom. Hope like hell I'm done sanding in the bathroom. But yeah, I'm gonna bang this out and then move forward. All right, that's all been sanded. That's all been sanded. The stuff up here has been sanded, but this area down here and some of around here, I realized has some pitting of the same sort. So this has all been wet down with phosphoric acid. I wish I'd noticed before. I would have done it at the same time, but whatever. Sorry, just noticed a spot that needs to be wiped down. So the thing, I know I've talked about this in the past, but it's been a while, so let's do it again. Phosphoric acid, sold in a lot of places as concrete and metal prep, this stuff, converts iron oxide into, I want to say iron phosphate or something like that. I'll put it here if I remember to. What it does is it has a chemical reaction with the rust, not with the metal, just with the rust, and turns it into something inert and hard. Basically, it goes black, is how you know it's done it. And that will, if it's just the thin layer, it'll convert all of it. If it's thicker, it'll seal the top and basically helps to stop the rust. It also treats the metal, does something, yeah, it does something to the metal, but slightly different. If you put it on correctly, which is that you wet it on there and then you wipe most of it off so the surface is just like got the very slightest little sheen of it, it will convert it, the rust, it'll treat the metal, and then it'll evaporate away and you can paint directly over that. I'm sanding it just because if you're not super careful with that, you can end up with slight ridges of texture there. So I'm just making sure I don't have that. But it's another way, like what I'm doing here is just kind of paranoia because I can't get rid of these pits. So it's just a belt and suspenders of doing that before I put it under the epoxy primer. The epoxy primer alone should be enough to seal that, but I don't want to have it bubble through later, so let's, be paranoid and take the extra effort. It's especially useful, though, for areas you can't completely de-rust. Like when I replaced the rocker, I ground away all the rust I could, but on the inside of the inner rocker, there were areas I couldn't get at with a wire brush or anything, and there were areas where it's just a little too weirdly shaped or thick or whatever. So I removed all the loose rust, treated it with a phosphoric acid to neutralize it, and then went over it with Master Series anti-rust paint to seal it all up. And again, belt and suspenders, try and make sure it's as good as possible so I don't have to do it again. But anyway, I'll catch you up probably tomorrow, but next work day. So I lied. I decided I wanted to clean out this drip rail so I could also paint in there. Tried a couple things. The needle scaler did nothing to the seam sealer. It just literally stuck in the end of it. Tried a roll-lock pad on a little air thingy. That didn't do anything. What ended up working best was the wire wheel disc. But as you can see, I completely destroyed it. But that's okay because all the crap's out of here. This is all nice shiny metal in here right now. What I'm going to do now, and now maybe tomorrow, but it might not. What I need to do now is clean up, at the very least, this area and this sort of lip and the other side of this lip all the way along, just because I can't have any paint on this side of where I'm going to be priming, because I don't want to forget that that area needs to still be stripped down. And then the other thing I need to do is all of in here needs to be finished. Some of it's been worked on by a friend of mine, but it's not done same way as the other top he didn't have a chance to finish. But all that needs to be gone through, and then this seam right here needs to get worked on, but I think I'm going to need another wire brush for that. Need to get all in there. And then if I do that, then I can mask the opening, inside the car. I can mask it like that, from here, and paint this whole section. And like I described, I'll be able to put the trim on most of that and not have to do anything more with it. But I think I'm going to need it. That wire wheel was really useful, but Jesus Christ, it was disintegrating. By the end, it was disintegrating at a shockingly fast rate, flinging needles everywhere. Like they're literally all over the place. Not to mention the dust that it created. This is all the old seam sealer that it stripped out, but worth it. Got it out. All right, it's another day. My other camera was acting weird yesterday, and then today wouldn't turn on, so I probably lost the little bit of footage from yesterday and the beginning of the footage of what I was going to record today, because the camera wasn't working. I had my partner out here to do something, so we just did it. So sorry about that, but let me talk to you about what's going on. So the obvious thing is the doors are off. She came out, helped me unbolt them. They're laid here. I need to figure out exactly how they're going to be arranged to paint, but for now they're up there. I worked at this. This up here has all been ground out. And then under here has all been ground with the couple different tools. There's a lot of surface rust under here and a little bit of chunky, not rot through, but like the surface definitely had trapped water in there. So all that's going to get treated with phosphoric acid. This side here all got ground out all the way down and part way down there. I don't think I went all the way to the end, but part way down. This has all been vacuumed along here as well as anywhere else I could vacuum. The hood, the back edge here, it turns out I hadn't taken the paint completely off of, so that got done. So my hope for today is to put primer on this stuff. I don't know if I'm going to be able to or not. That's going to depend on two factors. One, how trashed my shoulders are, because I took it easier yesterday, but they're still not great. And the other thing is how warm I can get it in here. I'm going to grab the propane heater. I'm going to set that up, get that chugging away in here. But none of this up here is insulated. It's a whole other thing. Part of the reason I want to be able to get this out of the garage is because I want to be able to insulate up there without dropping crap on the car. But If I can get it to at least 50 degrees in here, that'll allow me to be able to use the primer that I have. The primer I gotta move, I just realized I have to move in the house so it can be warmer than that. So yeah, this fender needs to be wiped down. There's one spot on the other side, on the top up there, that needs a real good scrubbing because something got stuck to it. The hood needs a wipe down. The stuff you see that's gray right now, most of it could use a rescuffing so that I can prime it, and then it needs a wipe down. This rail up here, I'm not going to be doing today because it needs the phosphoric acid to do its job first. So that's not going to be painted today. This quarter needs a wipe down, and it's including inside all the stuff over there. The big problem I have is I want to paint back here, but I don't want to open the door because it'll let all the temperature out. Oh, and this is how it's relevant, is in here needs to be scuffed and shot. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to scuff in here along with all the other prep, and then I haven't decided if I'm putting the wheel on, moving the car, jacking the car back up, taking the wheel back off, or if I'm going to shoot in there and then put the wheel on and move the car. Yeah, I haven't decided if I'm going to put the wheel on, jack the car down, move it forward 2 feet, lift it back up again, take the wheel back off, or if I'm going to do it the other way around. I think because I have more to do in the wheel well, it probably just makes more sense to move it and then jack it back up again. Just if it hadn't suddenly become freezing cold, because we went from like 60s and 70s to 40s and low 40s to 30s basically in a week. So this really kind of caught me off guard. Literally between the time when I was like, hey, I could use some friends to come over and help so I can do this, and the Saturday that they came over and did it, which was 4 or 5 days, the temperature completely changed. So yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, the problem, oh God, I just realized, yeah, that's the other problem. The whole car needs to come this way if it's going that way so I can still get around the hood. Half my problem is this. That's the seat for the van with all the pieces out of the Oldsmobile stacked on it. Those are going to have to go back in the car for now. That's the vanity for the kitchen. There's just too much shit everywhere. That's the whole front end. So, okay, let's rethink this. Step 1, clean up in here. Make as much space as I possibly can. Step 2, jack the car down, put the wheel on, jack the car down, reposition the car. Step 3, reposition the table with the doors and the stand with the fender around where the car now is. Step 3, 4, wherever. Step next number, step G, do all the prep work. And I'm going to run the heater as soon as I get the car moved because I have to open the door to do that. Yeah, and that's going to be it. And if I get it fully prepped and the room is warm enough, I'll paint today. And if not, I will start figuring out another solution. If I can't get this space warm enough just as it is, one thing I can do is staple heavy sheeting to kind of seal up the upper area somewhat. It won't be perfect, but that'll help with air loss. It won't be like it's insulated, but it'll... I won't get as fast a heat transfer out because the hot air can't just rise up and hang out in there. It'll be stopped by the heat sheet, and then it'll have to transfer the heat upwards. So that'll help. And I can absolutely, like, once I've done that on a work day, I can come out here like 2 hours before I'm done work and crank the heater up so that hopefully it's warm enough by the time I'm ready to paint. Okay, I have a plan. I have freezing cold fingers, so yeah, I should have put more clothing on. But yeah, we have a plan. We're going to do that. We're going to get as much of this shit out of the way. We're going to move the car, and then we're going to set up and prep. Alrighty, progress. So, everything has been scuffed and pretty much everything's been masked. I've got this masked all around here, including that one exhaust tip. This is all masked. This is all masked all through here. Be better if this was closed up, but it was such a pain last time, I'm not bothering. This is masked. Ditto, it would be better if I masked more of the windshield, but again, this has all been masked. The hood has all got drop masking, which is now not relevant because I realized I could throw the cover car over the whole engine compartment and basically take care of that. This area in here, I was starting to mask and then realized it was foolish because I need to do both things on either side of it. So the paint's going to go somewhat up this way into this area that already had been painted. The rest of this is going to, like the random spots else around the car that I haven't gotten to those panels, it's just going to get some Rust-Oleum or something sprayed on it just to close it up. But this is all in good shape. These don't really need masking. This is only getting its top surface painted. The inside is another project. This is getting some of the, like the around the edges, that stuff, and the top painted. That's getting basically everything painted, so there's no real masking that needs to happen there. I may mask off the tops of the windows, because I'm not taking the windows out, but even that I'm not too worried about. That one needs its glass replaced anyway. But we're in good shape, and it is warm enough in here that I am slightly overheated in the flannel, so that's good. I've had the paint near the heater, but not right at it, so it doesn't explode. So I think I'm at the point where the only thing I really need to do at this point is wipe everything down, and then I'm ready to shoot paint. And for those of you who do body work, yeah, this is a mediocre way to do it because there's going to be dust and whatnot. But this is more about sealing the car up than it is about the final paint job. Because like I haven't done any of the metal, or I've done the metal work, I haven't done any of like the filler work yet. So if in the end, to get everything smooth, I end up sanding off 80% of this coat of primer, whatever, I'm not worried about it. But for now, if it's sealed up, it means the car can be outside without it rusting, and that's what my major aim is right now. So yeah, I think I'm going to run in and grab a snack, and then I'm going to start wiping stuff down, ready for paint. The only thing I'm not sure on is I realized I hadn't treated the rust here or the rust here with phosphoric acid. So that was the first thing I did, and I don't think it's going to be dry in time. And spraying paint over it seems like a bad idea, so I may try and wipe up. Like, it's done its work because the rust has already turned black, but there's still some of its residue. I'm hoping I can clean that off with the Prep-Sol, but if not, I may end up not painting this panel right this moment. So yeah, making progress, so I'm happy about that. We're getting so close to my goal, and that makes me feel really good. If half this car is in primer by the end of the weekend, that would be amazing. And considering it's Sunday, this is my chance to have it done by the end of the weekend. The roof rail up here is now a separate project, which is dumb because the whole point of this was to get the car sealed up, but it was going to be foolish to leave it as it was under the circumstances. So I'm just going to plan on, in the very near future, finishing up the rust, clean up here, and then mixing up a tiny batch of primer, just shooting that rail. It's okay because the whole roof needs to be scraped off and painted anyway, so it's not like that is the difference between being done and not. Alright, this is going to be quick because I need to turn the compressor back on so it can fill up, but everything is wiped down, hopefully well enough. At this point, I just want to put the paint on. If it's imperfect, it's imperfect and I can fix it. But I can fix imperfect paint, I can't fix lack of paint. So yeah, I'm just going to get to it. Hopefully this all sprays out fine, and I will catch you up afterwards. I'm not going to put you on time lapse because it's so crowded in here I can't have the camera set up somewhere because I'll probably just bump into it. So I'll see you in a bit. Hopefully you can hear me over the compressor, but I've got the back, the quarter, all of this done, the entire hood edged, and about half the hood and most of the front done. That was my first container of paint. I've got my second one over there. I'm just waiting for the compressor to fully refill. I've definitely been fighting the compressor, but I know that It's a little under spec for what I'm doing. The fact that I have the tank for the second one, the old compressor that died, is helping, but now I gotta wait for both those tanks to fully fill. But I've been pretty happy. It's definitely orange peely. There's kind of nothing I can do about it. But overall, it went on pretty good. This is the worst because the angles were a little weird. But even the stuff that needs major body work just looks better when it's all one color. So this is awesome. It's going on pretty well. I've been pretty happy with this stuff. So I'm just gonna wait for the compressor to cycle back up again. Maybe step out and grab a drink of my drink, since I can't with this. And then come back, do the other half of the hood, the fender and the two doors. And then this whole stupid thing will be done. My dumb forgetting that, hey, maybe you should just prime it right away, which was my original plan. I've now caught up. So, going good. All right, and I'm done. Sorry about this. The room's still full of fumes, but everything is in primer. Went okay. I had to refill the gun a couple times. I vastly underestimated how much primer I was going to need. The other thing was I was getting impatient and I kept outrunning the compressor. So a lot of the orange peel that ended up on this is because I was letting the pressure get too low. But I mean, it's all okay. Everything's got one solid, in some cases two coats, especially because at the end I was then trying to use up what was in the gun. So like the hood got a whole nother second coat on the top where all that speckling had been. The doors got full second coats, stuff like that. But massive milestone. Very happy overall. Unfortunately found a couple surprises once everything was in one color. I'm not going to get into those today because I'm done. But in the next video probably I'll end up having to work on those. Most are tiny, one's a bit bigger issue, but it's not huge. Either way, very glad I got this into primer. So yeah. Very good, cool. Very glad I can put a pin in it. These things are done, they're in primer. They're not done, but they're done as far as they are in primer. And that was the big threshold I was trying to reach. So that's going to be it for now. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will talk to you later.